Hi everyone, I'm Rebecca from DevourDinner.com. Happy Sunday and welcome to my kitchen. I'm excited to be here. I hope you are too. We are going to have a couple of fantastic recipes that I know you're going to love, and I'm really excited to share them with you. So welcome. As you jump in, please say hello. Let me know where you're from. We're going to take just a moment and make sure that our technology is working properly. We should be live on Facebook as well as on YouTube. And we're going to check those out, check for volume before we dive into these two recipes. So welcome, welcome. Let's see. All right, I'm getting the thumbs up that we are live on YouTube, and I know we are live on Facebook. I don't see us live on YouTube yet. All right, I'm being told yes. Fabulous. Sally, hello. Sally has a cute picture of a dog. I love it. Hi, Kathy, how are you? Hello, Amy, welcome, welcome. If you're just joining in, I am Rebecca from DevourDinner.com, where I focus on easy to make recipes for busy families using common ingredients. And today I'm going to make two recipes, one using the air fryer and one using the electric pressure cooker or the Instant Pot. And we're going to jump in and get started along the way. Now, if you have questions, let's ask those questions so I can answer them live. Just put them in the chat, and I like to answer those questions as we go along. And if you're watching this on the replay, I'll circle back around and try to answer those questions too for you so that you have all the tips and tricks on how to make both of these recipes today. Hi, Trelva. Hi, Amy. Hi, Peggy. Hi, Kathy. We've got both Kathys on today. Wonderful, wonderful. Now, I have heated up my pressure cooker. As you can see on the front panel, it's reading hot. So I've pressed the saute button to get that bottom element hot. And I'm going to put a little bit of butter down inside. We want the butter to melt. And we're going to saute up some onions. So we're just going to get those into the bowl here. And let those onions start to cook and start to sweat. Now I'm going to drop the link to the recipe that we're doing. We'll get it. I promise. So the first recipe we are working on in the Instant Pot is the Instant Pot baked beans. Now I love baked beans. I love baked beans, but I want them to slow simmer all day and have all of those flavors meld together. I actually have another recipe on my site making a cowboy baked bean in the Dutch oven. It's one we do when we go camping a lot, and it is loaded with all kinds of protein and flavors as well. And this one is derived from it or taken from that one. But you have the link, so if you're on your desktop, open up a second window and you can follow along on the recipe. And if you're on your phone, just save that link and you can go back to it later and you can try this recipe. So the first thing we're doing is melting some butter. You can use olive oil, and I've got the onions in here just starting to cook. We can't turn on my overhead just yet because there's so much steam that it's fogging up the camera and you won't see anything. All right, listen, I got some fun things to talk about today. First of all, let's give a huge shout out to Amy from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group. She is here, and typically many of her admins and moderators hop on as well, and I am so grateful for their love and their support. So if you have hopped over from the Instant Pot 101 for Beginners group, welcome. This is a safe place to ask your questions so that we can teach you how to use your pressure cooker at home. And it's just a lot of fun. So thank you, Amy and your team. We sure appreciate you. All right, so if you're just joining in, we are making a baked bean recipe in the pressure cooker. Let's go top down now. We have got a little bit of butter, some onion, and some green bell pepper. That's all we've got. We're just letting those onions start to sweat a little bit. We're getting those bell peppers in and heated up. You'll notice off to the side, we're starting to caramelize on the edges. We will make sure to deglaze the bottom of the Instant Pot. So what does deglaze mean? A lot of times when you're using the saute feature, things are gonna get stuck to the bottom of the pan. And you've likely heard about the dreaded burn notice. Well, to avoid that, we're going to deglaze the bottom of the pan. And what that means is we'll add a little bit of liquid in and scrape off anything that might be stuck to the bottom so that we don't get the burn notice. It's really simple, really easy to do. You just use a little bit of your thin liquid, your water, your broth, whatever you're using in your recipe. Amy says, oh my son was looking for the exact thing yesterday. Is that baked beans, Amy? I sure hope so. Pat says you are looking great. Well, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Okay, listen, friends, while we're letting this cook, I need you to mark your calendars. Next Sunday, I will be live again, but next Sunday I have a huge announcement. So, I am not telling anybody until I tell you viewers who come, because you are my loyal fans, so I'm telling you first. So next Sunday, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, when I go live, I have an announcement, and I'm going to announce it at the beginning of the live. I'm not going to string it out, but it's next Sunday. So that should be fun. You guys are so fun saying hi to each other. I love it. I love it. Now, if you're watching and you're new, will you let us know? Will you say hi and let me know that you're new so we can welcome you and help you with any questions? Again, right now, I am making the baked beans in the pressure cooker. And so far we have butter, onion, and bell pepper in the pot on saute. And I'm now going to add some ham cubes. These are the larger of the ham cubes. It's about 1 cup. And we're just going to add those in. They don't really need to cook. They're already cooked. But I do like to break them up a little bit. Sometimes their juices are enough to scrape the bottom of the pan, but it looks like we're going to need to deglaze this pan really quick. So, in order to do that, I'm going to add in some thin liquid. Today I'm going to add in some broth. And by getting a little bit of broth, right where those onions were caramelizing, I can scrape and lift up that caramelization. And so I just put like 2 tablespoons of liquid into the pot, nothing huge. And then we're just scraping around the edges to make sure any of that caramelization is lifted off. Looks like we are good to go. All right, I'm gonna turn off the pressure cooker because we have now sauteed everything we need to saute. We've deglazed the bottom of the pan. And now we're gonna start adding the rest of the ingredients. Now, like I mentioned earlier, a good baked bean recipe is so good and delicious because it's slow simmered for hours and hours. The luxury of a pressure cooker is it speeds up that slow simmering process to get all of those flavors to meld together and just be that explosion of flavor in your mouth, right? And baked beans have a lot of great texture along with flavor. So, we've got our vegetables in here, we've got our ham in here. Now we're going to layer things up. And the reason we're gonna layer things up is because we're gonna be adding some pork and beans, right? Which is kind of a thick, heavy sauce. And if you've been pressure cooking for a while, you know a thick, heavy sauce doesn't come to a boil like a thin liquid does. And sometimes when we're cooking in the pressure cooker, it's all about layering our ingredients so that that thin liquid can get down to the bottom and come to a boil to bring our pressure cooker up to pressure, right? So with that in mind, we're just gonna start layering on top. So this recipe is gonna call for a can of white beans. This is like a 15-ounce can. You can use white beans or navy beans, and we're just gonna layer those on. It's also gonna use a can of kidney beans. Now the fun part about this is you can choose the beans that you like. Whatever ones you like. You want a garbanzo bean in there? Throw a garbanzo bean in there. Any kind of beans you like, load it up if you like those beans. We're then going to add some mustard. Now, if you know me, you know Lots of recipes call for yellow mustard, and I like to spice it up. So we're gonna use some spicy brown mustard, and I'm gonna use like 2 tablespoons of mustard. We're also going to use a little bit of brown sugar. So I'm gonna use about 1/4 of a cup of brown sugar. We'll just plop that right in the middle. And then we need some chili sauce. Now we're gonna use the whole bottle of chili sauce. Chili sauce can be found in the aisle of your grocery store where you find the other condiments, the ketchup, the mayo, the barbecue sauce. It's typically down by the barbecue sauce. You'll find cocktail sauce close by the chili sauce. And this is what's gonna give it a little bit of a kick, not a hot kick, but just a little bit of flavor. Notice I'm putting that right in the middle. All right, and finally, we're gonna add our pork and beans right on top. We're gonna add 2 cans of pork and beans. Now this makes quite a big batch. Oh, we're not done. We got bacon. Forgot about my bacon, you guys. And then we gotta add our thin liquid. Let's get our thin liquid in before I forget. We're gonna add about 1 cup of broth. The recipe calls for beef broth, but guess what? In my pantry today, I didn't have beef broth. I only had chicken, so I'm gonna add it. Now, I'm adding this around the edges. Why? Because the edges are gonna reach down to those vegetables on the bottom and get up underneath on the bottom. So we've got that added, and now I'm gonna cut up this bacon. I actually cooked this bacon earlier in the oven. If you have never tried cooking bacon in the oven, I am telling you, it is a game changer. I love it. And I overcooked this a little bit. Not gonna lie. It is a little more crispy than I would like, but that's okay. You can put the bacon in any size crumbles, or you can buy the pre-packaged bacon crumbles. Like you can get those at like Sam's and Costco, and you can get smaller packages even at your grocery store, and that works just fine too. All right, there we go. Now I know that's kind of dark to see. It's a little hard to see at this point, but I promise we've got everything in there, and we're gonna put our lid on. We're gonna close our pressure valve, and we're gonna set this. Use your plus and minus keys to set it, and we're waiting for the beep. Remember, the beep tells us that your pressure cooker has accepted the reading, and it's going to start heating that bottom element, right? As it heats up that bottom element, that thin liquid, so the broth is going to come to a boil. As it comes to a boil, it's gonna create steam, and steam creates pressure, and pressure will seal off the back of the pressure valve. Then the front panel will change to the number reading, and those will count down in numbers. When it hits 0, it'll beep at you again, letting you know that the pressure cooking time has completed, and you are now in what's called a natural pressure release state. Check on your recipe to see what it says. Some recipes call for allowing a length of time in the natural pressure release state, and others say to quick release. Today we're gonna quick release the pressure, which means we're gonna open up the pressure valve and back. All of that pressure and steam is gonna shoot up to the ceiling and release that pressure before we can open our lid. And it's just that simple. Easy peasy, right? All right, let's clean up a little bit, say hello to everybody, chat, all the fun things. Oh, we got a lot going on here today. All right, Amy says, put a slice of bread or a couple of marshmallows in the package. Amy, what are you talking about? Oh, you guys are talking about brown sugar, I bet. You guys, I think you're talking about brown sugar, but let me see if I can find it. Hi, Vicki, how are you? Hi, Susan. Yes, Amy is asking, how do you keep your brown sugar soft and in storage? So some people do put a slice of bread. I had not heard of marshmallow. There's also a little brown sugar bear you can get off of Amazon to put in your brown sugar. I seal my brown sugar up. I use small bags and I keep it sealed, and then I keep it sealed in another container. And so I do pretty good with it and don't have a struggle. But of course it can go hard and it causes problems when it does. Nobody likes to bake with hard brown sugar, and it really depends on how often you're using brown sugar. Maybe you don't go through it fast enough. Kathy says, I love bacon in the oven. I do too. The mess and the cleanup is so simple, so fantastic. It's truly the only way to go. Only way to go. Okay, we're gonna push this off to the side. Now, because this is a big pot, you guys, and this is excellent for your barbecues, your family reunions, your camping trips, all of the things that you're going to, all the baseball, end of season baseball games with all the little leaguers and stuff. This is excellent. You could even dice up some hot dogs and throw it in as well, which would be fun. I like to ground up some hamburger and throw that in too. It's delicious. It's just a great, great recipe. So we're gonna let it do its thing over here. We're just gonna let it do its thing. And we're gonna clean up, make sure I haven't missed anything, and then we're gonna start on this next super fun recipe. Sigrid says, I made BLTs for dinner and cooked the bacon in the oven. Yeah, cooking the bacon in the oven. So you cook it at about 400 degrees and you line a cookie sheet with aluminum foil. Then line out your bacon on the pan. You're gonna bake it at 400 degrees for about 10 to 12 minutes on the first side. Then you're gonna flip it over. And then depending upon your level of doneness. So today I did 10 minutes on the first side and I did 5 minutes on the second side, and I got it really crispy. But your oven may heat hot. You might be using a thicker bacon or a thin bacon. And so you do kind of have to watch it, but all of your grease and mess is there on the cookie sheet in the aluminum foil. When the bacon is done, you pull it out and you just lay it on some paper towels to drain a little bit, and just leave your pan with all the bacon drippings right there. Now, some people like to save their bacon drippings and use for other recipes, which you can do. Pour it into like a mason jar and save it. Or if you're like me, don't come at me, but if you're like me, you just let it cool. And that bacon grease will get hard, back up, and then you just carefully put together your aluminum foil and you throw it away. And your cookie sheet is fine. I still wash it, but you don't have to like scrub it. It's not all covered in grease. You don't have splatters of grease all over your kitchen or all over your stove. It is easy peasy. Such a simple thing. So bake it at 400 degrees for about 10 minutes on one side, and then 5 to 8 minutes on the other side. Works perfectly. Okay, Kathy. Kathy says, I am anxious for the air fryer recipe. Let me tell you, this recipe is really it's silly, okay? But a lot of times when I'm looking for different recipes to share with you all, I look at the seasons, what's going on, different things. And of course, in the summertime, we're getting close to the state fairs or the local county fairs. And I don't know if you take the opportunity to support your local county fair or your state fair, but they are sure a lot of fun. They're really fun to see all the 4-H projects, all of the kids who've worked so hard with all the different livestock and animals, and the classes that they've done, the art projects they've done, the photography, the quilting, the gardening, all the fun things that you see at the fair. It is truly amazing what these kids do. And there's adults who do things for the fair as well, on top of all the vendors that come, all the food booths. I like the fair for all the food booths. And that's where this recipe comes into play. So let me grab the link. Dee is asking a great question. Can you use dry beans? No, not for this recipe. The reason is, for these baked beans, and I'll drop the link again, is you can cook dry beans in the pressure cooker, and I have a recipe for that, to make refried beans or black beans, and they're delicious. They're amazing. You don't have to pre-soak the beans for those recipes, but you do have to add a large amount of liquid so that those beans can absorb them. So in this recipe, we are just using canned beans for that. Ooh, Peggy says I save my bacon grease and use it for potatoes or green beans. That's fabulous. Vicky says, I was happy to see the Mickey ears today. Okay, the Mickey ears are always there. It's just, I tend to stand in front of them. For those of you who don't know, let me move out of the way. Can you see it? Do you see the Mickey ears? We haven't pulled that out in a long time. This is my Mickey icon cutting board my husband made that we just love. We use it for charcuterie and for just fun dessert platters and stuff like this. It's just, if you know me, you know I am a Disney fanatic, and we always have to have a touch of Disney, a touch of Walt in whatever I do. And if you look a little closer, you'll see some other nods to Disney as well. So we'll go ahead and put that back there. All right. Let me get this recipe now that we've done all of this talking. So today for the air fryer recipe, we are gonna do air fryer Twinkies, right? It's so simple. First thing I want you to do, heat up your air fryer. Get that air fryer hot and going. We want it at 350 degrees. Let it preheat for 4 minutes. Just get it hot, get it going. Now, there's really nothing fancy when it comes to Twinkies. And that's kind of the fun part about it. Grab a box of Twinkies. Get a big family size box, get a regular size box, or go to your local gas station convenience store and just pick up a 2-pack. You know how they sell them in the little 2-packs? Just grab that. Those work too. You can make as many or as little as you want. Now, I only have 3 left. Bet you can't guess where the rest of them went. We made these. So open up your Twinkies, your snap cakes. We are not going to batter these or anything. All we're doing is opening them up, and we're going to put them in our air fryer and toast them up. That's it. I never started that. You guys, I'm losing it. Wondered why it was so quiet. So Twinkies are fun to serve a variety of ways. You can dust them with powdered sugar when we're done. You can add a little bit of whipped cream and some fruit, which is delicious. You can do a drizzle of caramel or chocolate, which is also delicious. I'm gonna be honest. I have tried them every which way. I have even used a pineapple sauce. So think applesauce, but it's pineapple sauce. And it tastes just like you would expect it to taste from like a banana split, if there was pineapple, crushed pineapple or whatever on a banana split. It's sweet, it's delicious, and I've loaded it up. But I personally like them plain. I think they have plenty of sweetness all on their own. They don't need more. And I love the texture of the crispiness with everything else hot. I don't know what it is, but I haven't enjoyed Twinkies since I was a kid, and these have been a lot of fun. Just a lot of fun. Vicky, you're welcome. Vicky says, thanks for the up close Mickey. It sure is fun, isn't it? That up close Mickey. Kind of fun. You guys, I'm sipping on my clear protein from Clean Simple Eats. It's got 20 grams of protein, no artificial flavors. It's totally clear, and I really love it. It's very refreshing. It's not carbonated. The calories on it are 90 calories for the whole can, and the can is 16 fluid ounces with 20 grams of protein. No added sugars, only 2 carbs. They are my favorite from Clean Simple Eats. You know, use my code, Devour Dinner, one word, all caps. You can order clear protein. You can order the regular protein that I mix with smoothies and shakes and all of the fun stuff. It's wonderful. And I will even drop for you the link. You guys have it. I know you do. but we'll do that. All right, so lots of questions are coming through. How do you store the bacon grease? Peggy, let's see. Peggy keeps it in the fridge, but some people don't. I don't store my bacon grease, so I'm not an expert and I'm not going to proclaim to be. But I do know that people store it in a mason jar, covered, non-refrigerated. And I do know people store it in a jar, refrigerated. I have no idea. I have no idea how long it lasts or anything like that. Ooh, Peggy says sometimes she uses a little bit to fry eggs. Not the most healthy way, but once in a while it's okay. I'm sure that that would be delicious, right? A little bit of bacon grease in there. There's lots of great things you can use it for. Lots of great things. Okay, our air fryer is almost ready. And literally all we do, oh, I haven't dropped that link, have I? I don't remember. I'm gonna drop the Twinkie link because I don't remember if I dropped it already. The Twinkies are just the Twinkies. We're gonna cook them at 350 degrees. We're gonna do it for 2 to 3 minutes on the first side. Then we're gonna flip it over and do it for 1 to 2 minutes on the other side, and they're done. They're done, that's it. Simple, easy peasy. But let me tell you, if you go to the state fair and you get a fried Twinkie, they're gonna deep fry it in oil. Sometimes they'll batter it, sometimes they won't. And it's the same, but without all that extra fat from the oil. So, we're just gonna put these in. I want you to see what it looks like. See that? Can you see? Now, you could load this up. I only put 3 in here because that's all the Twinkies I had left. But you could load it up. And we're gonna cook that for, there we go, 3 minutes. Now we get to talk, you guys. Our pressure cooker just sealed up. It takes just a minute for that front panel to change from reading on to the number that you set it for. Okay, so don't be alarmed if you're new to pressure cooking. It does take a few minutes to come to pressure, especially with the beans. The reason why the beans might seem like it took a long time today is because the amount of ingredients inside the pressure cooker. So the things that will change how quickly or how slowly it pressures up is the temperature of the ingredients and how full your pressure cooker is. Okay, if you're doing a small little batch, it'll come to pressure a lot quicker than a big batch. If you're using frozen meat, like frozen chicken or frozen beef or hamburger or whatever, it's gonna take longer to come to pressure because everything is cold. Do not, I need you all listening, put on your listening ears. Do not try to fudge the system and heat everything up first and put it in your pressure cooker so it'll come to pressure faster. Do not do that. The reason is, when these recipes are developed and they're tested with that time that it takes to pressure up as part of the cooking process. So if you were to alter that portion of the recipe, the rest of the recipe may not cook in the amount of time allotted because you've now shortened the cooking time. While it's coming up to pressure, keep in mind, everything in that pot is heating up, it's cooking, it's sauteing, it's starting to meld those flavors together, okay? So that's why sometimes it takes longer than others on heating up. I hope that helps a little bit anyways. D, are you asking if Twinkies have a Canadian supplier? That's a great question. I don't know. Twinkies are made by Hostess Snack Cakes. Peggy says fried Twinkies are so good. I've had fried Snickers at the fair too. So good. Yes. Fried Snickers, fried Oreos, fried Twinkies, you name it. Like, they're just amazing. In fact, our county fair, our state fair, does a fried, does a donut, slices the donut in half, loads it with a hamburger patty, bacon, the whole 9 yards, then deep fat fries it and pulls it out. Crazy. I know. All right, I want you to see this because I want you to see that it is starting to golden up. So look, already starting to get toasty. So all we're gonna do is just flip it over. And then we're just gonna pop it back in. That's it. Those will be out before we know it. Before we know it. All right. I want to make sure that I got all the questions. All right. I'm scrolling. I think I've got everybody. Your big questions of the day. How's summer going for everybody? Okay, Sally just dropped a link for Walmart. Bacon grease in a box. Apparently you can buy bacon grease in a box at Walmart. So I guess the real question is, where is that in the store? Is that in the refrigerated section, or is that, just on the shelf? That's cool. That's really cool. The temperature here in eastern Idaho has come down a little bit, which has been nice. We've liked that. It's turned out to be a beautiful summer. The fire season has started. We get a lot of smoke coming in from California and Oregon, the fires that are going on, which breaks my heart because fires are just so massive and so devastating. And so if you're in an area, please be safe. Please do your part to not cause a fire, because this time of year it's really dry out there. All right, our Twinkies are almost done. Gotta love it. I'm not gonna wait. We're gonna dive right in. I'm gonna taste these so you guys can see. All right. They smell so good. Look, the cream filling starts to like poke out. Got a little plate going on over here. Ooh, those are toasty. There we go. All right, let me find. I like my colored cheesecloth, because watch what it does to these Twinkies. If I just put a color underneath them, you guys can see them. Look at the difference. You can't see definition, you can't see texture, but all of a sudden you get some color behind it, and now all the little crevices like stick out, and it's really fun. All right. There we go. Okay, can you see how toasty it is? I'm gonna see if we can catch this on camera. I'm gonna just try to break it, and I've got my microphone up here, so let's see. You see that? There. So it's crispy around the edges, it is soft in the middle, and we're gonna take a bite. It kind of reminds me, okay, you got to think with me here. It kind of reminds me of a crouton. Not the hard croutons that break your teeth, but have you ever had like a fresh homemade crouton that's crispy and it just kind of breaks up so nice and pleasantly in your mouth? I know you at home that have tried this are shaking your head. That's what this is. You've got the outer edge that's crispy, but the middle is just this soft, and it just kind of like breaks apart, and then you have the cream filling that is just so melty. It's amazing. Like truly, it's a favorite. So simple. So next time the kids come home from school, the teenagers come in after work, the grandkids come over, buy a box of Twinkies and make these. You're gonna blow their minds. They're gonna think it's the cutest thing. They're gonna go home to their parents, if they're the grandkids, and they're gonna share it with their family. Your teenagers are gonna share it with their friends. Like, they're going to love it because they're just so fun. Let's see if we can. See how that center, it almost like drips out? It's just so good. Now, you can kind of play with these a little bit. So I did 3 minutes on the first side and 2 on the second. And that is the most I would ever do. Sometimes it's nice to do 2 minutes and 1.5 minutes. Just cut it back a little bit. You still get the crispy, but you don't get as crispy. The thing about these is as they cool, they actually tend to get a little bit more crispy. And so if you're not going to eat them all right away, then undercook them a little bit. There's my tip. Susan says that she's supposed to leave for the Canadian Rockies next week. Hopefully the fires and the smoke won't affect us. I hope so too. Oh, Dee's asking the protein drink. Do they have a Canadian supplier? Ooh. I don't know. That's a great question. Go to the link for the protein, and I can drop it again. See if they do. It really wouldn't shock me if they do ship to Canada. I know they don't ship all over, but it wouldn't surprise me if they send to Canada. So the protein company is based out of Utah. It's a clear protein. The packaged protein I know is gluten-free, which I really like. It's easily digestible. It doesn't taste like a protein. It doesn't leave the aftertaste like a protein. It doesn't have the grit like a powdered protein does. The clear protein is a lot of fun because they're refreshing. So this is a blue flavor, blue raspberry, and it tastes just like you would expect blue raspberry to be. You could mix it with lemonade if you want, put one of those lemonade packets into the mix. I find that I sip on them all day instead of like drinking soda pop. I'll just sip on one of these and get in extra protein. I love that it's not carbonated. And so it's just very refreshing, very easy, very fun. And it comes in 4 different flavors. The company is a lot of fun to work with because they're always coming out with new products and new things, and it's really cool. All right, do you hear the beep? Guess what? It's time to open the pressure. So we're gonna do a quick release. So we're gonna open that pressure valve. You can use like your little ladle, the little hole in the ladle to just move that pressure valve open and closed. But make sure that you move your pressure cooker away from your cabinets, away from any low hanging light fixtures, because that steam over time will ruin the finish on your cabinets. Do not put a towel over the top of your pressure cooker. That's a no-no. Instant Pot doesn't like that. It will gum up your mechanism. So just let the pressure go. So I'm gonna move it right here and we're gonna open this up. If for some reason your pressure cooker starts to spit out liquid, just quickly close it. It's called a controlled pressure release. Sometimes when you have like soups, or if you have a lot of ingredients in here, or you've cooked pasta, you have the starches from the pasta that'll kind of spit out, and nobody wants that all over their kitchen. So close it, let the stuff inside settle, and then open it back up. You can do that as many times as you need to keep your kitchen clean and control that release that works for you. Sometimes these beans will start to spit out a little bit, just because there's a lot in there. There's a lot going on, and this pressure is escaping quickly and fast, and it will grab whatever it can as it goes out. So just stay close whenever you're releasing pressure, just for safety, so that you can close it if you need to. Now when we open it up, we're gonna give it a quick stir. Sometimes it might be thinner than what you want your baked beans to be, and that's because we added in that thin liquid. And if that's the case, you can turn on your saute button and we can cook out some of that liquid. I do find as the baked beans cool, it thickens right up, and so you really don't need to thin it down or cook any off. You'll be fine. But we'll take a look when we open ours up. Trelva says the protein drink is great. I love hearing that, Trelva. I love it. Okay, so Sally answered the question. Sally is the one who found the bacon grease at Walmart and dropped a link for that. And Sally says it's on the shelf with the other oils. So that would be in your baking aisle where you would find the olive oils, the vegetable oils, the canola oils. It would be on that area of Walmart if your Walmart carries it. Sally, thank you for looking that up. And Amy even commented, Walmart has Twinkies in Canada. Thank you, Amy. I love it. I have such a great group. You guys are amazing. Okay, if you haven't given this video a thumbs up, please do. If you haven't given it a heart, give it a whole bunch of hearts. Let me see the hearts across the screen. And if you have shared this video onto your timeline, into a group, in a message to a friend so that they can watch later, big hugs from me to you. Thank you so much for taking the time to share a little love and help Facebook and YouTube know that this is great content. I know Dee is watching over on YouTube today, and I so appreciate that. Make sure that you like and subscribe over on YouTube, and that you're following me here on Facebook. And if you're just popping in late, I had an announcement earlier. We're going to drop that again. Next week, I will be live next week, same time. And I have an announcement to make, a fun announcement. I will be making it right at the beginning of the live. So we'll go live, we'll check technology, we'll make sure all the audio and everything is working. And then I'm going to share my announcement next week. And that's the first place I'm going to share it. After the live, I'll be sharing it on Instagram and on Facebook and all the places. But I wanted you viewers at home to know first, because you come and listen to me and join in on Sundays, and I just love it. So I'm telling you first. So I hope you'll join me. I hope. All right, our pressure is still releasing. That's what we're waiting for. I'm starting to get a little bit of a sugar rush from the Twinkies. So here in Eastern Idaho, we have two fairs. We have the Eastern Idaho State Fair and then the Idaho State Fair. So the Eastern Idaho is in Blackfoot, Idaho. And they usually do that it starts like Labor Day weekend-ish. And it runs for like 10 days. I think the fair on the other side of the state over in Boise is a little bit earlier in August. I think. But when are the state fairs in your states? If you know, put what state and around what time. You don't have to be specific on the dates, but just like, let's see when everybody's state fair are. Because it's fun. It is fun. Sigrid's already making a guess. New grandbaby? Wait and see. Wait and see. It was so fun having the grandbabies here. They were here the first part of June. Wow, it's been that long. That went by fast. Yeah, the two granddaughters were here the first part of June. I don't even think, let's see. Oh, I don't even have those up right now, darn it. I was gonna see if I had a picture of them that I could show, but I don't have those saved and open right now. I'll try to have some pictures next week because I have a cute one. A really cute. Let's see if I can do this. We're gonna go top down. This is not gonna be great, but I'll get the real picture for next week. But this is one that I did of the girls. You see that? So I put them in a box. Oh, it went dark. Hold on, there we go. I put them in a box Let me bring up that brightness. See if that makes a difference. Yeah, here. Now you'll be able to see better. There we go. I'll find this picture for next week and I'll show it to you so you can actually see it in real time. But I put the kids in a box and I took pictures of them and then I spliced it all together. And it's darling to see their expressions. They're at that age where it's next to impossible to get them both looking at the camera at the same time and to get them both smiling and to not have the baby walk away. So I thought, let's take their pictures separately and then I'll put it all together as a collage. And it turned out amazing. Absolutely amazing. All right. Here we, ouch. Ooh, I touched the edge. So be very careful because the edge of the pot is hot. Look at that. Now, as you can see, maybe you can see, right now it does feel a little on the soupy side, but keep in mind, this is so hot, you can't even eat it yet. We got to give this like 10 minutes to like cool down before you can even take a bite. As it cools, that sauce is going to thicken back up. If for some reason you still think that your beans are too thin, you could turn on the saute button and you could essentially boil out some of that liquid. I'm not going to boil any of it out, but I am going to dish it up. Because, wow. You guys see that? It is just beautiful. You can see the steam off of it. Wow. That is crazy. Let's get this contrast in here. Why do I bring the white back in? Because sometimes it needs it. Yep, just like that. All right, hold on. We're going to do one more thing. There we go. How's that? Can you see that? Here's our Twinkies. Right here off to the side. Okay, you remember how I made those bacon pieces big, fat, and chunky? Look. Tell me you don't want to bite into this with a whole piece of bacon. There's so much bacon in here. Can you see that? Oh, that's hot. There we go. Having those big pieces of bacon, having the pieces of green bell pepper. Now, you could have substituted red, yellow, or orange bell pepper if you like. You could do, I've got the big pieces of ham. If you don't want to buy the cubed ham, but you have leftover ham because you made ham, throw that in. You could actually even throw in the ham hock and then just pull the ham hock out because it gives excellent flavor. And if you want, you could throw in a little bit of liquid smoke as well. All right, I'm gonna try to take a bite, but this may be way too hot. We gotta blow on it, you guys. I do not wanna burn my tongue. So good. I love the textures. I love that we have the different textures of beans. You've got the pinto beans, you've got the white beans, which are the softest of the beans here, and then you've got the kidney beans as well with the onion and the bell pepper, the bacon bits. It is just, it's a party in your mouth. And because we've cooked this in the Instant Pot, all of those flavors have melded together. They are fantastic. Happy dance. I'm telling you, happy dance. This is a meal all in itself because you've got the ham, you've got the bacon. You could just eat this for a meal, but it's a wonderful side dish to go with any potluck, any barbecue, any sports closing social, any family reunion, any camping trip, whatever it may be. Here's a little fun fact. Sometimes when you're camping, it's hard because you don't have all the equipment. Make this at home the day before. Put it in a Tupperware container. Then just take with you and heat it up in a Dutch oven. You don't have to slow cook it all day. It's already done. And you can be eating hot beans pretty quick. Pretty quick. Peggy's asking, could you half the recipe? Absolutely you can, because this recipe is a lot. Amy says, so canned beans, when you cook in the pressure cooker, they don't turn mushy. No, the beans don't turn mushy. You still, like, look, I want you to see that all of the beans are still beans. These did not all disintegrate into oblivion. That was a good question, though. Kathy says the beans look so good. Jackie says the beans, or that looks really good. Sigrid says that looks like a lot of beans. Peggy says yummy. So cute. Very cute. Adorable. Love it, you guys. I love it. So good. Kathy's asking, would these be good at room temperature for a barbecue? Okay, great question. It's a personal preference. I have been to many occasions, and some people serve their beans cold, and they like them. Some people serve them hot, and they like them. It's okay. You can do you. Hot, cold, middle of the road. I actually don't like them quite this hot. I like them a little bit less, but I don't like them cold. So yes, the answer is yes, you can. Love it. Amy says, that's impressive. I love it. You guys are so fantastic. What a great live today. Such a great live. All right, I will be back next week, same time, 3 p.m. Mountain Time, with some more great recipes and an announcement. So please come and be here. Be on time if you can. Otherwise, you'll catch it on the replay. You can always, even when I'm live, you can go back to the beginning and watch it. So I'll be here on the timeline and you'll just be behind me, and it's fine. So you can go back so you haven't missed anything. All right, everybody. Thank you so much for your support. Happy Sunday. Happy end of July. August is kicking in. The school season is starting. The state fairs are going to all start happening here pretty quick. I hope you make Twinkies. I hope you make the beans. If you've made either of these recipes or any of the other recipes on my website, would you please do me a favor? Would you take a minute and go back to that recipe, and would you leave a review? Leave a comment. Let me know about the recipe. Put a star rating. Super important. Google loves the information. Let's give Google all the information they need so that other people can find the great recipes that I provide and I'm recipe testing for you at home. All right, everybody, have a fantastic Sunday. Remember, be kind. Thank you so much. We'll see you later. Bye now.